everybody, my name is Janaya Toye and this is my channel where I talk about whatever I want. It's been a few days since I've done that, hasn't it? Okay, so I took a long weekend just to kind of rest, see where I was at and just relax because I have not done that in a while. So a few people have asked for a story time on how I injured my ankle. You can see the video on it here. I hope I remember to edit that. But I am basically going to do that. And also maybe some other story times if you like this one, which show me you like it by leaving a like down below. Yeah. So I was travelling. Imagine the scene. I'm travelling along like you do, right? I've reached North Yorkshire. Huzzah! It's beautiful. And I'm, enjoying the scenery, loving the wildlife. It's so magical, everything about it. And I just got out from Hayburn Wyke and I'm travelling along these cliff tops. I get a little bit lost along the way, but I find the path and I'm walking along these cliff tops, right? And all of a sudden, I'm just saying hello to people. Hey, I'm travelling on a trip for charity. It's fun. We love it. And I say hello to the, a nice person, but the wrong person, and my ankle just goes yeet, and I nearly fell off the cliff. Yeah. The cliff, literally. So say you guys are where you are. The cliff was about here, and I was like, let's fall backwards onto the pile of land leading up to the fence. So I fall into the farmer's field instead of off the cliff. And somehow in this whole ordeal, my violin is completely fine. Don't ask me how that happened, I have no clue. But the violin was fine. I was so glad about that one. But yeah. So I fell over and I'm just like, oh no, it's no big deal, don't worry about it, I'm fine. Saying this to every person who walks past who's asking me if I'm okay, and I'm like, it's just a twisted ankle, it's fine, it's no big deal. So I'm like, okay, I've twisted my ankle, I'll just have some water, maybe a little bit of something to eat, rest a bit, and then be on my way. Which is the smart thing to do. I did not account for the 18-kilogram bag that I was wearing that made the fall a little bit worse than it would have been otherwise. But yeah, so I say this to everyone who comes along, and then these lads and their wives who are from Norfolk of all places, Norwich of all places, AA, they are like, excuse me, miss, we're headed to Robin Hood's Bay. Can we help you out at all? And I'm like, actually, yes, please help me. And so they're like, we'll take your bag for you, here's our number, so if you need us at all, we're just going to take you back to Robin Hood's Bay, and, we'll either meet you there or walk with you so that you're okay. Because at this point, I look very young for my age. They probably didn't know I was only 19. They were in their 30s, but they looked like they were not much older than me, So there I am, just walking along with these guys. I'm falling over a lot, by the way, in this time. I am falling over a hell of a lot. And it's not fun. Like I said, I scraped my hands. I mean, they're pretty much fine now, thankfully, but I scraped my hands. I was scared, I was freaking out. But the adrenaline was what was keeping me going. And of course I didn't know this at the time, but I was walking on a torn ligament, which apparently is very painful. Of course I didn't know this at the time because I was running on adrenaline. But yeah, so that was what happened. And we kept walking, and all of a sudden I was like, okay, we walked down this cliff to Bogglehole Youth Hostel. The youth hostel's closed. The cafe's closed. I'm hungry. It's nearly lunchtime and I was going to get food in Robin Hood's Bay. What can I do? So they're like, oh, Robin Hood's Bay is like maybe a 10-minute walk up these stairs, so we'll just, we'll meet you up there. And I'm like, no, I'm coming with you. So I walk and I get like halfway up the stairs, and you'll see this in the video. I walk halfway up the stairs and then I'm like, okay, yeah, no, I overestimated. I can't do stairs, which is a common thing now as well. Even with the crutches, I can't do stairs. But yeah, I was like, I can't do stairs. How about I just meet you, at a pub, and, I can get my bag back then because it's awkward. So they were angels, and they took my bag to Robin Hood's Bay for me. They carried it around with them. They were like, God, this thing's heavy. And I was like, yes, it is. And so honestly, they were my saviours, literally. Them two blokes and their wives. And so I'm like, okay, I'll have some more water. I'll, have another snack. And then I'll try and get up. Hang on a minute, I can't get up. Why can't I get up? And I'm like, okay, calm down. 1, 2, 3, and I'm up. I'm like, God, that's worse than last time. And then it's like, I tried walking up, well, it's rocky grass at this point. And I'm like, alright, I'll walk to the youth hostel because it's flat there, and then back. And that'll be my test for whether or not I'll be okay. So I walk to the youth hostel, and I'm like, why does this hurt so much? I don't understand. Why does it hurt? And then I walk back, and I fall over. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. So I literally just crawled back to the edge of the stairs, and some lovely woman offered me some peanuts and an apple and refilled my water bottle for me, and she was a saint, thankfully. So she was lovely, and then an older couple came and told me to call 111, and I was like, nah, it's nothing serious, it's just a twisted ankle, I'll be fine. And she's like, no, call 111 now. I'm like, okay, will do, once I've eaten this apple and these peanuts, because they're good. I like food. But yeah, so I called 111 like I was told to, and all of a sudden, of course I didn't know at the time, but I was leaning on my ankle, but all of a sudden my ankle starts giving me this horrible stinging pain all up here, and it's awful, right? So that's kind of where I'm at, and I'm calling 111, waiting for them to pick up, and they're like, hello, and I'm like, hello, yeah, I'm in a lot of pain right now, and I can't walk. And they're like, okay, where are you, and what's your contact details? And I'm like, this is awkward. I used to live with my mum, but now I technically live with my dad, but I'm also in North Yorkshire and nowhere near Norfolk. And so that was a very awkward conversation to basically be like, yeah, I'm travelling. And they were like, yeah, so maybe try and chill out. And I was genuinely crying down the phone to him like, yeah, I don't understand why I'm in this much pain. My foot's never failed me before. And it's like, calm down. You seem like you're in a lot of pain, but chill. And well, they weren't like that. They were very nice. Let me be clear. They were very nice. But so at this point, I'm calling them, and they're like, all right, so just call 999 and let them know that you've got an ambulance coming for you, and ask them when it's going to be ready, because we can't track how close it'll be to you right now. And so, yeah. And then he was like, okay, I'm going to hang up now, you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine, no worries. And so yeah, I did as I was told. I called 999. They weren't very happy with me because they were like, this is an emergency line, not for small incidents. And I was like, okay, I'm so sorry. It's just I'm just doing what I was told to do, you know? I didn't know any better. But yeah, he told me to call them to get a more precise location, so I did as I was told, and the 999 person wasn't very happy with that. which is completely understandable if you're dealing with people in emergency situations 24/7. Still a bit scared of calling 999 though, because I was lucky I called 111 to begin with, but they told me to call 999, which is scary. So after a while, the paramedics come in the ambulance, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's the ambulance over there. And at this point, I'm just like happily eating the peanuts and apple and water, and I'm completely fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with me anymore. And yeah, the paramedics come up to me, and I'm like, hello. Yeah, I kind of killed my ankle. And so they run a bunch of tests on me, and they make sure that I'm doing okay, and they were lovely. I love the paramedics over there. Yorkshire people in general are so nice. I love them. But yeah. So I basically talked to the paramedics and was like, yeah, how are we going to get me down from here? Because I'm currently on top of a hill with no car access. And they're like, well, we got up here by walking up to you, so guess we're going to have to get you down the same way. And I'm like, how am I going to do that? Bum shuffle? And they're like, nope. So they rang up the Coast Guard to come and get me. And it's like, yeah, no, this kid's walking the Cleveland way, isn't she? And they're like, yep. I had a very awesome conversation with one of the paramedic ladies about some Norse mythology, because she asked me about the necklace I was wearing, and it's like, I love mythology. Mythology's great, but yeah, so we had a conversation about that. I didn't get any of this on camera, by the way, because I didn't want to, record them and show their faces, because that's just a little bit rude and disrespectful. But yeah, so I basically was like, yo, this is epic, but not epic. So I was like, okay, I've got to go to the hospital. Can I go to Whitby, please? And they're like, oh, there is a hospital in Whitby, but it's not the one that you'll be wanting, because you need to have an x-ray done. And I'm like, but there's an x-ray place in Whitby, right? And they're like, oh, no, not really. And I'm like, but you didn't take me forwards, right? You're not going to make me go back on my trip. Sorry, you've got to go to Scarborough. I'm like, oh no, not Scarborough. So like, don't get me wrong, I love Scarborough. It was a gorgeous place, but it's a case of, I don't want to be going backwards on my trip. I want it to go forwards, not backwards. No reversing. I want to go forwards on my trip. But then, yeah, they were like, sorry, we're going to have to take you to Scarborough, and you're going to have to start this whole trip, the whole walk, the whole Cleveland way again. And I'm like, okay, that's no problem. I can record it again and just change some bits here and there. And they're like, yep, you're gonna have to. I swear, they were so much nicer than I'm making them out to be. They were so kind and so polite and so lovely. But it's like, then you just get me with all my sarcasm. But yeah, basically they were like, we're gonna have to take you to Scarborough. There's not much we can do. So they took me back to Scarborough in the ambulance, and when I got there, they put me in the wrong waiting room. Not their fault, they had a lot of patients to deal with, but they put me in the wrong waiting room. I waited there a couple hours, and then, yeah, they put me in the right waiting room after that, and it was like a half-hour wait, and then, within 45 minutes after that wait, the entire thing was done. I'd had, my consultation, my x-ray, and my after talk thing, where he told me that, hey, we want to put a cast on you, but I know that's not going to be cool with you, so just wear this awesome boot. And I'm like, that's not an awesome boot, that's a boot of death. And they're like, well, at least it matches your regular boots. And I'm like, yeah, it kind of does. Because, it's pink on the bottom and black on top, which is the same as my boots, my walking boots. So that was fun. It really wasn't. And when he told me, I'm so sorry, you're going to have to pause your trip, I was like, oh, no, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me in my life. But yeah, no, he was genuinely very apologetic about it, and he was like, you're going to have to stop your trip. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of guessed that when you said not broken, but here's the good Yeah, no, they were like, got good news and bad news. Good news is it's not broken. Bad news is you're gonna have to wear this boot. And it's like, thank you, but I really don't like this. And yeah, nah, they were very kind about it. My dad got me checked into the hotel, and then the next, well, not the next day, but the day after, he came and got me. So basically, it was a hoot. It was a very stressful and emotional day, okay? But yeah, so if you like this story, check out the video on it, and if you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, comment something nice, share this video with your friends so that they can know the context of this whole thing, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video tomorrow. Bye, YouTube!